And then the same schedule will indeed, as you see then, the AMG and the Calibre are both going to try and get through here. Kubel will just open up the door as we head into the stadium section here. Very, very tough section to get right. But it should be interesting to see these two battling with each other. Should be quite a similar pace between the drivers. Obviously, you would imagine the 2008 car is going to be a little bit faster. But yeah, it should be very interesting between the two of them. Chris Nissen, over 100 professional race victories. P1, a 158.969. But I think you'll find the time might be beaten here already. As Schulhorn is continuing the lap, Schulhorn will go fastest. So it's a 150.174 into the pits for the Opel Calibre. Stefan Mucker bringing that car in. Again, just warming it up, which is always good. Welcome to everyone who's watching over on YouTube. Again, we had a bit of buffering issues by the looks of things. Hopefully everything's okay, and that is not okay here. So Mark Hessel driving the BMW. Well, it wasn't a great time out last time for them, and it looks like this might be a major issue here. Lots of smoke coming from the rear of that car. And I think you'll find we're not going to make it to the pits here. It's going to pull over the side of the track and have to be recovered. That does not look good. That is not what you want for the start of the weekend. An immaculate looking car, but there are some issues with it. As the door is open, smoke, of course, probably filling the inside of the car. Mark's just going to get out. Don't want to be breathing that in, that's for sure. And that is not a sight you want to see from the number 20. Not a sight you want to see at all. So the weekend not started well here. And where's it let go? So this is the hairpin. On the power we go. Oh, yeah, bang. Bang. Trying to get the power into the car. Something's gone. Not ideal. Not ideal in the slightest here. And oh, no, there's another car that's gone kaput here as well. That's Kubel's BMW. So Kubel in that M3 E30 Group A DTM. That's also got lots of smoke coming out of it. Doesn't look good. Red flag here as well. That means all of these cars will indeed have to come into the pits. And also the number 40 then for Reich in the Audi A4. Lots of history for the Audi A4 as well. It was so good that it basically got banned. This car was just immediately a front runner once it was introduced in 1996. And actually during 1996 had a clean sweep of all of the touring car championships around the world, all the major ones. The list included BTCC, the Germany STW Championship, Italy, Australia, Belgium, Spain and South Africa. Won every single one. An A4 at least won every single one. And then it was penalised for having an unfair advantage, and the 4x4 was taken out. Basically, you couldn't have a 4x4 in these sanctioned championships, all because of this car right here. Again, of course, we saw it last time out, the Audi Quattro from the rally days at the Red Bull Ring with the DRM Revival Cup. And as you can see here, Christian Kubel is just getting that lid off, and it's saved the car. Hopefully, nothing too crazy. Oh, it's certainly one of the Super Tourers. You're going to have an incredible weekend here watching these cars. There are some fantastic looking cars, some quick cars, some not so quick cars, but they're all absolutely delicious to look at. So this is the weekend for every motorsport fan ever. And again, there is Mark Hessel just looking through what the potential issue might be. And again, just a very unfortunate turn of events. Before qualifying tomorrow, I will indeed find out what the actual issues were. But I will say one thing. These teams, the mechanics, the drivers, they're just magicians. They are absolute magicians. I am actually seeing out my window here, by the way, the Audi A4 is coming through the final sector here on its own. So that's all good. So hopefully it was just a case of a bit of a spin there. We should have had two A4s this weekend, but unfortunately the other one is not really working too well, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to take part. But it's nice that we have one. But yeah, the red flag then is still out. We've got to wait for these two cars to be recovered. Also, there's going to be plenty of oil on the circuit. That's going to run all the way from the hairpin up into the entry of the stadium section. So it's a long run. I'd say maybe well, no, more than that. Maybe a kilometre, actually. Probably a kilometre from the tip of the hairpin there all the way up to where Hessel's car is off the circuit. So, yeah, it looks like they might be checking to see whether it is indeed oil that's fallen onto the circuit. It's quite warm here as well. And actually, by the looks of things, Everything might be okay here. Well, no, there we go. That's the confirmation. So a bit of sawdust being put down there. Bit of some grinding, bit of sliding. You can just tell that the track is a little bit slippery here. And obviously safety has got to be our main concern. So some sawdust and grit, whatever they're putting down here, will hopefully be able to give us some more action here for the DTM Classics. Classics have been pretty unfortunate this season. We've had so many red flags that what normally happens is they get to the end of the evening on a Friday and they have to do like a non-broadcasted session. So hopefully that's not the case today. Hopefully you do get some running here under green flag conditions. But yeah, it doesn't look too great as it stands. If you're watching over on YouTube right now, let me know where you're watching from around the world. Let me know what your favorite car is for this weekend. Maybe you're going to find out what your favorite car is during this weekend. Maybe you've just tuned in and thinking, what on earth is this? Well, this is classic cars from 86 onwards to 2008. We have cars from 86 all the way up to 2008 in this weekend's entry list. Although it does look like the 24 cars that have started this weekend, within 10 minutes of the weekend, we might be down to 22 already. Is there any chance of some rain this weekend? Tomorrow there is a little bit of a chance of rain, but only in the morning, so it should affect qualifying only. I haven't checked for a couple of days, though. To be fair, it looks like it's going to be glorious weather. As a Brit, it's glorious weather. Everyone else seems to think it's cold. It's beautiful, to be honest. It's perfect weather. So, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good for the races this weekend. So, yeah, it shouldn't be too crazy. Sarah Humphreys watching from Australia or Austria, one of the two. Just says AU for me. So the official word is from race director is oil on the track at turn number 7 here. A thankless task of a marshal, making sure that we get on track action, which is great to see. Empty streets rule from Chicago, Slovenia, Germany, Pittsburgh. Wow. There are some people from all over the world. How you doing, Sam? You okay? So as it stands then, Schulhorn in the Mercedes DTM C-Class 2008, we expect it to be the fastest realistically this weekend. Is the fastest, currently P1. Then we've got Anton Werner in the Audi 200, currently in second spot. That's the bright orange Audi. Then we've got Chris Nissen in the BMW E30 M3 DTM, currently in third. And you've got Mark Hessel, the BTCC version of the E30, in fourth. But that's one of the cars that has stopped, along with Christian Kubel. And now we're about to see Kubel. What's happened here? Well, that's let go across the start-finish straight. And around turn number 1, hasn't it? Smoke coming out. And again, is there going to be liquid from that car that is going to affect this session? Timer is still going down. 17 minutes left to go here. And Christian pulls over as soon as he possibly can. And it's just such a shame, really. Such a lovely livery as well, with the fighter plane on the side of the car. And Kubel looking a bit perplexed. Again, trying to figure out what's going on underneath that car. What kind of Mercedes is in this race? We've got the DTM C-Class 2008. Mercedes running this weekend. That's the only Mercedes, I believe. Yeah, it's the only one. So it's the car from the 2008 DTM Championship, the original car that Maro Engel drove. So we'll get some close-ups of that car. I can almost guarantee it. We will get some close-ups of that car, so you'll be absolutely treated to that. As I think Gerhard Fuller's trying to get himself through the Audi's P7 currently. There he is, look. Look at Gerhard Fuller trying to get that Vectra through. It's like an Asda car park right now. It's kind of it's a cool-looking car to race with, but also if you need to go down to the supermarket and get some shopping, you can also do that. And I think Fuller might be done for the session here. Off they go. So that is game over for Gerhard Fuller. Hey, Dave Cap. So classy. So classy. Oh, be careful. Ford Mustang nearly taking the door off of the Alpina. Not a lot of room to maneuver through there. These cars are not built to go through small gaps like that at slow pace. These cars are incredible when they're going fast, but when they're going slow, they don't like turning. They don't like doing much, to be completely honest. And Guido Mom is done. So again, I wonder if they've been told something that we haven't in terms of this is going to take too long to get the track cleaned up and the session might be over. We've had that a couple of times here. Still 15 minutes to go, though. Still 15 minutes to go. Got people watching from Egypt as well. Sefa watching from Turkey. And if you are, I've just seen a couple of people who are talking about sim racing. Race Room has a lot of these cars. Project Cars 2 has a lot of these cars as well. I'm sure there's some mods on AC as well, if you want to get yourself involved with racing these. There are plenty of games out there that replicate these cars. And very well, might I add. Very well indeed. Fans in the crowd there. A little bit grumpy that there's no car action, but as you can see, it's glorious weather here. It's beautiful weather. I tell you what, they are some funky shoes, aren't they? It's the sort of shoes that Dave Cam would wear. As again, without the ladies and gentlemen in the blue this weekend, we would not be able to get racing. We've got 2 Sierras during this race weekend. We've also got a Mustang as well. So we've got both. So as it stands, though, Schulhorn in the Mercedes C-Class is the fastest of everybody. In terms of Class 2, Anton Werner is the fastest in the Class 2s. Then there's Class 3, Mark Hessel, whose, unfortunately, car had a lot of smoke coming out of it. So whether that car will be out there racing this weekend remains to be seen. But if anything's possible with these classic drivers, they are very, what's the word? Keen. They are very keen. Very dedicated, I think the word is. Yeah. Silly and dedicated is a very fine line. But yeah, if there's a chance of getting a car fixed and racing, it'll get done. I can assure you of that. Then in the Class 4s, it's Moritz Horn that leads the way there. Chance to win the championship this weekend as well. Mark Verhaeg then in the other Class 4s down in P13. In terms of the Class 6s, Gerhard Fuller is the leader in P7. And then for the Class 5s, the leader is indeed Schneider in the BMW 325i E30. So there are 6 different classes of car this weekend. So they're all battling for an overall victory in a race. So they're all racing each other, but they're also racing against their class. So they can earn the same amount of points for winning the race for the overall championship. But if they are finishing at the top of their specific class, they also receive those points for that championship as well. As we see the road being swept up here. Chris Kistler there from the United States as well. I tell you what, if this Marshall was racing that road sweeper, I think the Marshall would be faster. I think the Marshall is actually faster there. Great pace. I want to see a race now between the road sweeper and the number 25 Marshall. So this is the exit of turn 1, or is it the exit of the hairpin? I think it's turn 1. No, it's the hairpin. A little bit too close. Oh, there's some great action there. Some really nice cleaning action. So this is the exit of turn 2. So this runs all the way down. That runs all the way down to the hairpin. So you can see the dust there being kicked up here as well. The Capri is racing this weekend, Pora. Yes, it is indeed. It certainly is, my friend. Still red flagged here, though, ladies and gentlemen, because of this car here. Dropped a load of oil on the circuit, so they're just trying to get the track into a good state. Still plenty of sessions this afternoon, to go here. So they've got to make sure the track's safe. Safety's got to be paramount, as everybody else is pretty much waiting in the pits. There are a few drivers that have decided to just go back to their garage, but for the most part, the rest of them are waiting for the session 2 restart with 10 minutes 40 seconds left on the clock. There's Kubel's car then going to be put onto the back of the low loader and recovered back to their garage. And you can see here Kubel just trying to figure out what's gone wrong with the car. Is there anything obvious sticking out? Still trying to get a little look there as well. Perfect opportunity while the car's in the air. That'll be the only time it's in the air. And now the next car to be recovered will indeed be Hessel. So these cars are in a safe position. So it's nothing to do with where the cars are on the track right now. It is all to do with the oil on the circuit before we can get going here. So yes, 10 minutes. Who do I support in the DTM Classic? I just want them all to finish. Kayla, that is all I want, is for them all to finish the weekend. because I know how much hard work goes in. I know how much dedication there is from these, again, geniuses, borderline insane drivers for what they do each week for us to get some racing action. But yeah, that's all I want to see is them to finish. So I don't have any particular favorites. I'm very much a livery fan as well, so I like liveries opposed to specific cars. Session's going to start at 13:46. So 1 minute. So we are going to get around about 9 minutes of action left here. About 9 minutes of action. We're here at Hockenheim, home of the biggest bottle of oil in the history of the world. That's over the top of the podium here. As we see the number 50 there, Mr. Horn. And we're about to get going once again. Got Mark Verhagen in the Tic Tac BMW. Very much got faster and faster and faster as the year's gone on. Tried to tell him that this morning, and he's like, no, I've been slow this year. He's really improved. He genuinely has got very much quicker across this season. Has used about 19 different gearboxes for that car, but ultimately still going strong, which is great to see. You just saw there Yannick Trautwein, who actually won in the STW BMW that you see there Bruno Spengler's driving. He actually won in it last time out when they were here in Spa. So he was driving the car, got himself a victory. As we do now go green flag racing, but this time is down to ex-DTM champion Bruno Spengler to come here and get a victory. He already won in that car this season as well at the Norris Ring. It looked like the car was not going to be able to race, but ultimately went out there and got a victory, as the car on the outside has to take precedence. Use those things on the left-hand side of your car. It's called a mirror. And here we go then. Finally, a little bit of action here. 8 minutes to go of the session. As we see Schulhorn, who's currently the fastest, coming out of the pits. So everybody out of the pits here. And for the next couple of laps, it will be a case of not going on the oil parts of the circuits. The oiled parts of the circuit, should I say. Make sure that you're not the next person that slides off the circuit and has to be recovered. But with 7.5 minutes to go, it's nice to see some action. It really is nice to see some action. Only one Opel in this race, yes. Only one Opel. So in terms of the Class 1 cars, we've got ourselves the Schulhorn driving the Mercedes DTM C-Class. Then we have Hoffman driving the Opel Astra DTM V8. And then we have Stefan Mucker, who's in the Opel Calibra. So there's more than one Opel, sorry, there's 3 Opels. But yeah, we've got the Calibra. And then we have Guido Mom, who's driving in the Ford Mustang 5-litre GT DTM. In terms of the other Opel, we've got the Opel Vectra STW, which is Gerhard Fuller. Actually has won a race this season in that car as well. The first time out, managed to get a race victory. And I've seen some champagne sprayers in my time, but he was the most fun person to watch spray champagne. That is for sure. How do I tell my girlfriend that this is important to watch? Austin, turn the volume up and let the car sing to her. It really is as simple as that. 6.5 minutes then, as they all indeed start coming across the start-finish line to get their lap times in. I'm not sure how much we can really take from this session in terms of representative times, because the track is indeed now very slippery, especially through the first sector, into the middle of the second sector. And also, it's going to take a while for these drivers to get their tyres up to temperature, and also, there's a lot of traffic out there as well, so finding space in the circuit is going to be very, very difficult indeed. But as we go, well, you can see there all the sawdust being kicked up by everybody here. As we head then into turn number 2. And it really does go back on itself before you hit that left-hander. As we're watching Stefan Mucker and Schulhorn both representing the same part of the circuit at the same time, which is always good to see. Then we've got the Astra here. The number 19 trying to find a bit of space here. René Rook is the car that the Astra will have to displace. But we're going to have a very interesting weekend's racing. We have got 4 or 5 cars that should be battling with each other near the front of the grid. I'm really excited to see the Astra and the C-Class proper go at it this weekend. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen, but my appetite has been whetted. I'm very excited for it. Sculpted there with the BMW 635 CSI. It is a beautiful car, it really is. It very much is. So there's Olaf Mante then, having to give way here to Schulhorn. Using all of the track and a little bit more. How on the limit are you, Schulhorn? Yes, is the answer, by the looks of things. Again, such a cool looking car. The original from 2008, Maro Engels C-Class AMG. As off the track we go for the BMW. As Bruno Spengler goes up to second spot then, 5.9 seconds behind. And, well, we're about to see a faster time here, aren't we? Because Stefan Mucker, momentarily, has gone up to P1 with a 48.774. Schulhorn did go faster, but not enough to improve on the position. So gained about 0.8 of a second. As you see the Astra now coming through as well. So Hoffman up into P3. And for the first time this season, as we see the number 40 off the circuit, that's not good for Reich. Where is this? Well, this is the final sector here. Well, Mark Verhaeghe's car's let go here as well. Massive smoke coming out from that BMW in the Tic Tac livery. And that is not, again, ideal in the slightest here. So lots of cars having some serious issues. And that is at the end of the start-finish straight, pretty much. How's this? What's happened here? Just let go. Yeah, just let go. And locked up. Completely locked up. So that's a transmission issue there, for sure. Just locks the car up. An absolute passenger. And, well, thankfully, Mark Verhaeghe is okay. Because that could have been really nasty. If that happened mid-corner. Got a red flag here. That will be the end of the session. I'm sure of it. But that is very unfortunate there. Mark's out of the car. And you can just tell he's just fed up. Not a lot you can do about that. Not a lot you can do about that. So session then will not restart here with 2 minutes left on the clock, because just before turn number 1, we've got ourselves a BMW stuck there and will have to be recovered. So the session is effectively over. And that means that Stefan Mucker, taken after his old man, is currently in P1. As you can see there, the shaking of the head from Mark Verhaeghe. As the photographer is trying to get the best vantage point possible, adding salt to the wound. Very nice guy is Mark as well, always up for a chat. Really figured out this car this season. And yeah, just really gutted. And that would have seized up, by the looks of things, it seized up the rear axle. So not ideal, not ideal. Oh, Austin Pegg. Yeah, I quite often think about that. What are the DTM Classics going to look like in 10, 15, 20 years? I agree. I'm always thinking like that. As you get a nice pan vision then of the final sector here, the red flag has come out. Session is not going to restart, which is a huge shame. We've had 2 major red flags. Whether that means the drivers may get another session tonight, we've had that previously, twice this season already. Whether that is the case for them or not, I don't know. But here is your official classification. Stefan Mucker in the Opel Calibra is P1. We've then got Schulhorn with the DTM C-Class 2008 first outing for that car in second. Hoffman and Spengler are third and fourth. We've got Nissen and Werner as fifth and sixth. Horn and Wandel, 7th and 8th position. Then we've got Hessel and Whitman. Hessel, who looks like he might not be able to take part anymore this weekend. We'll have to see whether that is indeed the case. And they've got Fuller, Schneider, Rook, Schumann, Ronnie Scheer, Schneider. We've then got Verhaeghe, Reich, Kuberl and Horn as your top 20. And then Kamenzen and Zimmerman are the only other 2 drivers to get times in. So unfortunately here, ladies and gentlemen, we've had 2 major red flags, lots of fluid onto the circuit, and that is the run down towards turn number 1. There's been no impact to the car, so the bonnet being up like that is just being lifted, just to check out what is indeed wrong with the car, or indeed to cool the car down. So yeah, luckily there is no impact. Again, really Mark Verhaeghe being okay and not having to hit the wall or anything is the biggest victory out of there. As you see, the BMW M2s are about to come out and do an additional race this weekend. So that is the next class out there. But yeah, hopefully you kind of enjoyed that session. There's plenty of action coming for you this weekend, so it doesn't just end here. We've got ourselves qualifying 1 tomorrow morning on YouTube. The stream will already be queued up as well, so you can go there, put notifications on for the qualifying stream. The same with the race number 1 tomorrow night, and then indeed Sunday it'll be qualifying 2 and race number 2. All of the streams are already up and ready, so you just have to put notifications on.